Hello, everybody. Happy holidays to all of you for whatever holidays you celebrate. And of course, we all recognize in some way the new year to come. And with that today, I want to launch right into what we'll see is coming through. I have done no pre work on this, like I've done in some past videos where I'll meditate and then information will come in and then I'll start from that. But we're just going to launch right into it right now because I'm. Wow, okay. So, what they're talking about is the cycle is ending. Many of you may know this. I'm going to probably have, I feel like I'm going to have longer pauses in between this. I may try to edit those out, but I'm just going to let this flow really gently, or who knows, who knows, very violently too. Sometimes I'll just talk so fast that you can hardly understand the words. Anyway, um, the cycle is ending for the times to come. Okay, so we have some new days in front of us. We have a new cycle starting. I was actually informed with this by a friend. I might have already mentioned this, I don't think so, but it's worth repeating. I was informed by a friend not too long ago when she said, this is a 9-year, meaning 2025, and I go, and then she starts launching into something else, and I go, what? She goes, we're at a 9-year. She says, the cycle's beginning anew with the 1 year. And I go, I don't know. Explain this. Well, as you guys know, I channel energy. I read energy, I should say. And it lines up directly with what she's talking about. Apparently, we are, as of 2025, in a end of a 9-year cycle, which is very bizarre because just this morning, I watched Gaia TV for about 15 minutes when I eat breakfast. And Graham Hancock, who many of you might be aware of, was speaking, and he was, it doesn't even matter really what he was talking about, but it was something mathematical, but how in the subject matter that he was talking about these ancient cultures, all these numbers, and he didn't allude to this, but all these numbers that added up, each of them individually added to 9. And he was talking about cycles of civilization and cycles of astrology, whatever. Anyway, of the stars. I don't recall specifically, but anyway, they all totaled to 9. I mean, I just saw that this morning, basically confirming kind of, I guess, what we're going to be talking about now. But anyway, and how that was the end of a cycle. But he didn't say anything about the number 9. But I just happened to notice they all added to 9. Everything that added up to equal a total, those numbers individually were 9. So anyway, needless to say, I thought that was an interesting synchronicity for me here. Which is also why they have talked a lot about, particularly this year, the showing starting back in last May, April, spring of 2026, which I didn't understand at the time because they never give me new year information until usually the end of the year. So they kept showing me how this was so important, this launching off this new beginning. And now it makes more sense to me why they keep talking about this throughout the course of 2025 and bringing that visualization in is because we are in a 1 year in 2026. We're in a 1 year. So you add that all up, it actually equals 1, I believe. At least that's what I'm being told. So add 20, 26, 2 and 6 is 8 and 2 is 10. That's 1. So it is a 1 year. Anyway, needless to say, we're launching into brand new times. Another interesting thing for you to do, and again, I may have mentioned this, but it's worth mentioning again, is to look at yourself and your journey and where were you in 2016. Well, in 2016, I about fell over when my friend said this. She goes, we're in a end of a cycle, 9-year. And she said, where were you in 2016? I go, in February, I had a bolt of lightning hit me. That's when my awakening started. And as many of you know my story, it was going from one extreme to another. Interesting, and here we are today, right? So anyway, take a look at your journey, because I still say this journey is about learning how to look at the big picture. Now remember, that's part of this. The primary journey is self-awareness, opening up your consciousness, opening up heart-based way of living, choosing what serves you, blah, 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 peeling off the layers of the onion. But such a, excuse me, huge part of this is to be able to look at the big picture over time. And when we look at our journey over time, we are really able to start to see the patterns and of what has occurred to us in our, not only our awakening journey, but our life journey, and how it all connects, whether or not you were awake or not during that time. Because a lot of us, I mean, most of us didn't come in awake. I don't know anybody who really did. I mean, fully, right? I don't think that really happens. We continue to grow and learn, and to whatever degree we wake ourselves up further, right? So, but a lot of us weren't even aware of anything until one day we just got the blast, right? And then we started trying to understand what was going on with us, and here we are. So, needless to say, we're in this 1 year taking us forward into these times. And this is also why they wanted us in December to be able to really center in on ourselves, take some of that time. I hope you're doing that now, at least through the end of the year, or in some way have done that in December. I know that can be very nuanced and subtle, because it's difficult, as we know, in our traditional way of doing the holidays, to find that space. But I'm hoping you did. I am as well. And this is the weekend for that, and next week. So I'm looking forward to just kind of being, as they have mentioned. So let's just talk a little bit about 2026. And granted, this is more of a January energy update, but at the end of the year, I do want to try to speak to what we see for 2026. So I'm just going to kind of move into a space here of being able to bring through and see what I can get here. Once again, they're talking about not recognizing ourselves at the end of the year. Oh, they just said put a pin in it. Put a pin in it. Okay, so for us to be able to say, oh yeah, I am so different from last year at this time. Most of us aren't even going to remember that. Like, where were we? What were we doing at that time? Right? Unless there was something significant that happened at the end of the year, or because it's just hard to remember all that. Put a pin in it means make a note. Make a note of what you're working on right now. Some of us are working on really huge changes. Make a note. Put a pin in it, okay? You want to be able to come back to this in a year and look at yourself and understand what your struggles were at this time, what the things were you'd worked on in 2025. Just a few notes. You could just put, like, I don't know, 6 bullet points. I need to do that myself. Where you're at in your journey with your personal relationships with yourself, things you're working on, where you're at in your human life, work-wise, all of this, right? Where you're at in your spiritual journey, which is your journey, right? Put a pin in it, put a pin in it, put a pin in it. Okay. Oh, they're talking about, for this is a time of closure. Oh, I just got huge chills. They're talking about it will no longer be seen in the ways that we see now. For you have a shadow over your eyes. Okay, they're going to talk through me in their voice. For you have a shadow over your eyes. It's dimming, meaning the shadow's dimming, so that light may shine through. Oh, this is the veil. They're talking about the veil coming off fully in a way that you will now see what you haven't been able to see. Feels like also a cosmic veil that's over the earth. There's one over us individually as well. This is a long journey of peeling back the layers, right? They're showing very, 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 very bright light coming in. Again, this could be a metaphor, all right? It could be energy. It could be visual that we see it. But I'm getting more of, it's definitely individual and unique as to what we will see. So there's this idea that we will all see the same thing. It's not true. I'm not getting that at all. We will not see the same thing. It's all very individual based as to where you are in your journey moving forward. The light will brighten everyone's eyes. Oh, but it will brighten everyone's eyes. But remember, this is individual. So, turning up the light will be dependent on where we are in our journey. Some of us are ready to see everything, which feels like visitations. Whoa! I just got huge chills. potentially from our star friends. Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa. It'll be interesting to see over the course of the year who, maybe of you, has these experiences, new experiences, if that does occur for you, where you're at in your journey. I am getting this sense of great awareness that 2026 is the start of this. Okay, the unfoldment of the energies across space and time. It's not just us. It's an interconnectedness into the realms, other realms. Is that they're showing tendrils of Earth. I really feel different right now. Granted, I'm moving back and forth, so that could have something to do with it. But anyway, the tendrils are reaching out into Earth, space, and time, but also Earth is reaching out. There's a reconnection being made. This is very big picture. There's a lot of I don't want to call it attachment because that's almost seems like a negative term for us, but tendrils of energy reaching out, and they're making, you know what they just showed me? Do you know that Christian version of God touching man? Sorry, was that Michelangelo? The visual of, touching man, it's very Renaissance, right? And man's, that's what I'm getting. I just got huge chills. So the tendrils are like the fingers of God. I just heard, there's a lot of energy. And remember, we've done this thing where and as you all know, in Christian terms, or even religious terms, God's a man. No, this is an energy. This is a divine source energy. And what I'm seeing is that same visual of that painting, but energetically with the planets. Okay, hold on. But the reason they're showing that, remember the actual painting, if I'm not mistaken, was creation of humans, right? God creating humans. I could be wrong, but anyway, what they're showing me now with respect to that, to use that as a metaphor, is, or an analogy, I never know which is which, so you'll have to excuse me. There's something around that. It's coming again. That touch is coming again. It's so if you can take that visual representation of that painting and you can transfer that to the understanding of the cosmos, the sun, and with the energies coming in from the divine source, not just the sun, but this is coming in from all over, and the reaching out. This is the reconnection. This is the reconnection. This is the divine reconnection we are making in 2026. Now, it doesn't just happen overnight. Remember, we're in this weird mucky middle between Pisces and Aquarius, which is why we're where we are. Okay, we're breaking all this down. We got I don't know the exact date, but we got another, I don't want to say 100 years where this is this crossover kind of time frame at the end of the 2000, moving into the next 2000. So we're in this really transitional period, they just said, where we are transitioning individually as well. It's a little bit like a huge metamorphosis. That's the word I'm getting now, metamorphosis within ourselves. And they're trying to show us each in our own little egg and cocoon, but they're also showing us we're being rebirthed. I mean, I think we kind of know this, but I've never seen it like this or talked about it like this. And it's like we almost are, we won't be able to deny it in 2026, that it's happening collectively speaking. Oh, it's the birthing pains, right? So what we're getting is this creator mix of visualization, creating mankind, but we're creating within a new structure moving forward. That's why they're showing this. Yes, man's been created, right? But we are coming into being a new version, or I'll say our divine version, all right? So this is why we're being touched by the hand of God again, in that sense. many of us are going to move into like a great time of light, meaning you're going to experience. Remember, this takes practice too. You can't just sit there and expect it to happen. We're human. We still have to practice these things, right? I mean, some of us are naturally talented and have ability, but I'm going to tell you, if you want to get good at connecting, whatever that is with your intuitive gifts, you got to practice. So I know that sounds very human and very material, but that is typically how it works. A lot of people are being kind of all of a sudden coming online, which can be a little, I don't want to say disconcerting, because oftentimes when you do wake up, the knowledge comes with you, and all of a sudden you just kind of know, which is weird, right? But I'm also getting this idea that a lot more people, they just said, are going to be coming online. They keep showing the fingertip of God, like it's also the awakening. It's also so it's the divine light, right? The divine source light, if you want to look at that as the God visualization or in the painting, right? But coming in, it's not just a one-time thing. It's like sparking our greater awareness, moving us collectively up a notch into, and we're not, I know this doesn't feel like it. You know how they show the chasm in the past? Like, they'll do different kinds of visualizations. They'll do like the Grand Canyon and the Big Canyon, the Grand Canyon, but then the two plateaus. And they'll show us down here. They're telling me we're not in the abyss anymore. Oh, whew, I just got huge chills. We're not in the abyss anymore, because here's the thing. They just said the energy precedes the event or the visual representation. So right now, we are in the energy of transformation. The energy precedes what we see in the material. We know that, right? Okay, so that makes sense, because I say that a lot, right? I don't know if I'm seeing the energy, but I know the energy comes first before the material recognition, or creation. So that's what I'm saying here. So the hand of God, that I'm going to put that picture in here. Hand of God touching us again, touching on us again. This is a waking up thing for us. This is the wake up. It was representation of the creation, but it's the wake up. Okay, they're talking about many will march forward in unison. In the times to come, it will be a quiet revolution. Even though it doesn't look like it, right? But each to their own, a quiet revolution of shift and change. Gathering together, you will find one another as a whole. What does that mean? Oh, okay, it's saying you will come together as a whole. Linking arms. This could be very, this feels also like you're going to, many of you, again, it depends on where you're at in your journey, find more of your tribe, I'll just say. In 2026, linking arms, really creating things with other people is what I'm getting. Wow. Okay, really linking arms is what I'm getting with like minds. Here's what I'm feeling. This feels like, okay, now they're showing cellular structure. Oh, I'm not going to know how to explain this. Any of you knowing science, and you know, he used to put together the little, like in chemistry class or whatever class it would be, you put together the toys to show atoms and molecules. They're showing that. Anyway, or the little connecting devices, right? But they're showing that. They're showing that's what we're doing. We're linking arms now. Okay, so they said you have to initially, this is like all of life. This is so interesting. Initially, you have to have I'm not going to get this right either. This is going to show my ignorance around all things science. And somebody's going to correct me. But anyway, you're going to get what I mean. In the cellular biology, what they're talking about is that start of something living, that little piece, and then how it interconnects. They're showing an interconnection to create that cellular structure. This then links up with another cellular structure to create the way forward and to create. So they're showing that with us. We're doing the same thing. Remember, the universe is inside of us, so that's kind of interesting. Oh, this is going to get trippy if I go there. They're all talking. Yeah, we're just one big cell. But point is, here's the point. Is what they're showing is we're linking arms. We're actually building that structure. We're building that new life form, that new life structure. So it has to be match the same vibration and frequency. So if you're thinking about a cell in a living being, it can't vibe differently. When it doesn't vibe right, it's sick or unhealthy. When it doesn't vibe together, it's sick or unhealthy. That's what's happening with us out there now, but in that sense. But that's not, but what they're, or that's what it looks like. But what they're saying is, no, 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 you're starting to link arms. That's where you're building the structure of new life forward. The structure, and they just gave me amino acids. Don't ask me why. Anyway, structure of, as you link arms with others and you find the community, find like minds, even if it's one or two people, or you start having sparking conversations. There are a number of us. Remember, we're all at different stages. It has to be that way. We cannot all have this happen at once because it would be too much energy. So what we've got is the ones who've come, I'll just say kind of early on in the game, are creating massive structural systems, they just said. But that might be, but remember, we have this kind of all, the way we understand things is only through our human way of expressing, right? So when I say that, a lot of people will go, well, that's not me. Well, it could be. I mean, the shift and change inside of you, then linking arms with others that come your way, whatever that means, you might just be going to work and sharing what you have to offer with respect to your energetic, your auric field, right? You're not doing something. But what I am getting is there are many that are going to start growing, that already have, but we're going to see more awareness. The opportunity, okay, they corrected me, the opportunity for more awareness of the new conscious ways that are being built as others are linking arms with each other, okay? This will supersede what you see out there now. The breaking down. The breaking down is mad, I just heard. Mad. And I said, the word mad is the word, if you were to use it as like crazy or whatever, mad. Not sad, upset. Well, okay, so it's more extreme. The breaking down is mad. There's a madness. There's a madness. There's a madness. They just keep saying that. Counteracting that madness, there's a huge advancement coming with those of us going through this journey. Huge advancement. It's almost like we're shutting a door. It almost feels like, even though you could look out there and go, oh no, I'll be affected by this. It's that shrapnel thing. But we're going to have explosive times the next 6 months. You're going to look at this and go, if you're a news reader, which hopefully you'll catch a few things here and there, you're going to think, why bother? This doesn't look like why do I even try? I mean, depending on who you're around and who you see, the why do I try? Just let the world be its, and I'm just going to realize I can't do anything. Kind of attitude? Nope. Focus on you, as we've talked before. Focus on you, but I'm getting very much, we're going to see explosive times over the next 6 months. There's going to be a, okay, hold on. I want to get a good look at the year. I've talked about April and May. I do get the words political shift. By the end of next year, something's changing. Something very significant's changing. Now, I don't know if that's the United States. I can't get that, but I am getting, hold on. They just said where there is a spark, there is fire. Where there is a spark, there is fire. They just talked about things going up in flames. Where there's spark, there's fire. Things will go up in flames. That is where to look for all understanding of the way forward. I don't know what that means. I couldn't repeat that now. You have to play it back. I'm going to have to listen to that too. They're talking about diplomatic means. They just said diplomacy. Don't always assume it's your country. And for most people that watch me, it's the United States. I just heard the rise will come from the east. I don't know if that will be an actual event but it's like a leadership shift, leadership, world leadership kind of thing. I don't know if we'll even know any of this, right? Hear any of this, but there's something. Let me look at the world here. World map. They do this for me. There's a lot coming out of the east, and I'm not talking the eastern United States. I'm talking part of the world. We're talking Asia. It's like, I just heard a word, a rebalance. There's a rebalance, a rebalance is coming. The time of the great unknown will also be the time of light. Many will not see the way forward, and instead will be only drawn into the chaos. But others will find the light, not only within but without, linking in together, seeing things for what they really are, not for what they are told, and then instead being so bold and to branch out and join the throngs of those who are celebrating all day long the times to come. For that is how the way forward is met. It is there created for you, but will you find that path? All you have to do is seek and search out within yourself, move forward in the light, find the light path, choose that timeline on the way forward. Do not look back. Now they're showing Lot's wife. They use biblical representations. Don't be Lot's wife. So Lot's wife is in the Bible. And I'm going to stop here and tell you about this because they just said, keep going. We're talking about light or something following that timeline. Don't look back. Don't look back. And so what they've told me about Lot's wife is we've got that all wrong. It's a representation or metaphor of she turned to stone because she looked back. This was a longing for the old days. Okay, forget the whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing. But longing for the old days, the old ways, the lower vibrational ways, whatever those were. But she was kind of longing, looking back. Instead, they were moving at a light, higher frequency, higher vibration, following the divine within themselves, right? And with that, what they're showing is don't question your choices in that sense when it comes to this. Inside, don't let the outside world do to you what happened to Lot's wife, okay? You guys can look that up if you're not familiar with it. It's interesting. It comes in for me on occasion. So what I'm very much getting is this is a time of dedication and diligence, but also of relaxing into knowing that you're creating your own way forward. You're literally creating your own journey forward. You're knocking away the things that are in your way. Like they're showing bowling, like these pins are just popping out, okay? You're the bowling ball and you're hitting a strike, right? And so what they're showing is anything in your way, you are not going to tolerate. And you're not going to tolerate anymore. The things that you've put up with, you cannot. It's a frequency war, right? It's a frequency vibration war, if you want to call it that. So what's happening is not only internal, it's external, it's collective. So the frequency war that is going on is you've gotten to this point. And I know we're all at different stages, but remember, the collective of light workers also assists those coming along. And many are waking up fast and shifting and changing, opening up their gifts. But you're not going to be able to tolerate the things that don't serve you. In fact, it's going to be fast and furious. Whether it's, there's everything, right? Whether it's, I'm eating all wrong for my body. I treat myself terrible. I talk to myself terribly. I have bad relationships. I have a pattern of the same people all the time. Why am I in this job? Am I doing it because I fear I won't have any money and this is the way it is? No, it's not. All right. So these are all things. They're not going to work anymore. You're not going to be able to take this heavy stuff that you've been living with forward. I mean, and what torn asunder, I just heard, torn asunder. I always laugh at words that I would never use. Torn asunder, it's going to be pulled off. They're showing a lot of Rubik's Cube moments. If you're not familiar, it feels a little bit like this is earthquake time. Like if we don't get it together, and I'm talking individually because it rolls up to the collective, it's going to be pulled from you because we're moving and leaving this old dynamic and this old frequency. And, it's kind of like extrusion. They just, an extrusion process. Okay, so extrusion is the pulling out of, the extruding out of, like in manufacturing they use extrusion, right, for creating parts and things like that, but it's extrusion. And so we're being pulled, and some of us are going to really feel it because we've, a lot of us have ignored our stuff. We maybe know it, we haven't done anything about it, but we're going to be faced with it. Okay, we're going to be faced with it. And they just said, come to Jesus. Come to Jesus moments. Lots of come to Jesus moments. You've heard that saying, come to Jesus. Again, they are funny. They like to use biblical stuff, but the come to Jesus is our kind of modern way of saying, it's a come to Jesus moment. So we're going to have a lot of that. This is huge bright light. This is also part of what's shifting and changing the first 6 months of the year. And then gradually, and I don't want to say gradually, it doesn't feel like gradual anymore. It feels like fast. All right. For individual situations, rolling up into the collective of light workers who then, of course, the rest of the collective is coming along and they're starting to wake up. So we're going to, the significance here is this is massive shift and change. It's not, they're not waiting around anymore. It's not a waiting game any longer to like go, oh, okay, we'll give you another chance. Because a Rubik's Cube moment is when the universe, source, spirit, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, comes showing up and all of a sudden within 24 hours or so, click, 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 all these things come together and you're left with this. It may be something like, it basically takes care of things that we've either wanted to manifest and or wanted to shift and change in our journey, or that we've ignored. And then all of a sudden, you get these chances over and over again, and then pretty soon the universe will just go, okay, you're not doing this, so we're going to show you how fast it's going to get done, and you're going to be left with, I don't want to say the consequences, but yeah, kind of, because most of us know the stuff we need to work on. Most of us, right? And we tend to want to ignore it, right? Now, in the awakening journey, I'm kind of preaching to the choir here in the sense that you guys know that you can't ignore it any longer, right? But this is going to happen fast and furious. So it'll be interesting for you, not only in your own journey, but over the course of the year and also the following year, looking at the people around you and your family, friends, close, coworkers, whatever. Just kind of getting a sense, seeing what's going on, like how that's influencing other people around you. Okay, hold on. I still want to do 2026. Okay, I'm going to try to get I don't usually do this. I'm going to try to get very specific material events. We're just going to see what happens. All right, I'm going to do something a little different here. All right, let's just see what we get. I'm going to write some things down if I get them. All right, let's go. Let's see if there's like literal material events that I can throw out here as a energetic shift. I just heard the words political hangover. They don't always tell me. We're going to try to get a specific thing. They said timelines are really shifting right now, so it's hard to say exactly what it's going to look like. Okay. All right, we're going to give you potential. Okay, I just got the words change in leadership. I don't know where. I just heard it's significant. I won't be able to keep track of these either because I don't remember my channeling, so I don't know. Well, they'll bring it back if they need to. Maybe make a note here. Talking about the upside down, they bring in Stranger Things, which, gee, isn't that relevant now that Stranger Things last season's out? No, they just said the upside down, and they're showing the right side up. They just said the right side up. Oh, topsy-turvy. Okay, so the upside down, what I'm getting, oh, by the way, I've only seen the first I think it's 3 different sections of Stranger Things. But anyway, so this doesn't have anything to do with the movie, but they always use it as a metaphor. What they're talking about, it almost feels like we're going to be sick to our stomachs. Not like energetically, I'm not saying that's going to happen to us, but as far as a collective, they're showing like the upside down is becoming right side up. So in that middle It's almost like they meet energetically, and it's just a sick feel. It almost feels sick. It's like you're motion sick. It's weird. And I don't mean you're going to feel this. They're talking about like this is just a collective representation, right? But we might feel this is interesting because I don't know about you guys, but I don't know if you felt dizzy, like directionally, and all these kinds of things. I got people that like can't figure out. It's just weird. Okay, like in the upside down kind of thing, right? Like you just got turned upside down, or directionally you're off, or time wise you're off. But I am getting right side up, upside down, and they're also using the visual representation of a hourglass. You know, the old timekeeping with the sand in it, and they're showing it going. Oh, because it's a new period. It's a new cycle. This is tied to the 9-year cycle. So they're showing this huge hourglass. I just got huge chills. We're in this, and it's almost like almost right here. It's almost like you feel sick, and then we're going right side up to the new time. But the upside down is becoming right side up. It feels like a lot of things are going to be kicked out. I just heard of this old timeline. Like obliterated. I don't know what that means. God, maybe we're going to see tons of shift and change, like things that we talk about a lot, like, oh, well, I hope this happens. It just feels like this can't last on this higher timeline that we are reaching toward. We're definitely reaching toward it. And it feels like some dramatic things, like we'll be like, oh my God, are you kidding me? And those of us who don't watch the news, we will get what we need to. We will hear this. Dramatic things. But I do get political landscape. I'm dizzy right now, by the way. I always just give you whatever I get because I don't know why that is. But the political landscape is changing. Players are shuffling. I'm showing a chessboard. I just heard the king and queen will move. King and queen, they're showing chess. I'm hearing the pawns. Oh, this is interesting. Oh, they're showing a big chessboard. Now, I used to love chess, but I never played a lot. But I don't know the representation or the definition of what a pawn is. But what they're showing it for me in this representation is the pawns are turning on the king and queen. Like the game's won by the pawns. Like starting to be won. This is a collective uprising kind of thing. So the pawns on this chessboard, they're showing the pawns turning around. And again, they're using them as the average person, right? Pawns are turning around, facing their own king and queen. This is interesting. This is so interesting. Oh, I just heard eating their own in that sense. So on this chessboard, I have so many chills. There's 2 sets. Actually, I'm only seeing one. I'm seeing the king and queen and all their crew. But the pawns, instead of going across the board, they turn around. Something's going down with that. The collective uprising. Remember how a few years ago I talked about, I'm remembering this, that was kind of more local kinds of things happening in the sense of in different parts of countries or, different various countries or various cities or whatever it is. But there's something going on with a spark that turns into the flame that ignites others throughout the world in what we will see come. There's significant change coming. It feels like the earth is also going to align with that frequency and that light of shift and change and continue to express. I just heard. Again, I obviously, I don't know why I even talk about this, because earth is just going to keep doing this. And we're kind of in the way, right? So we can get hit by the shrapnel on occasion. But what I'm getting is, here's one thing also to do, by the way, is I've been given, so just kind of a little segue here, is if you do a meditation or if you do a prayer or whatever it is, connect into Mother Earth. Thank her for her life force. I mean, think about it. She provides us life. Yes, I know many of us have been taught that is God. Yes, I know that. But in that source sense, that spirit sense, that light. But if Earth didn't have her life-giving support, Think about it. Soil to grow things, waters that run. I mean, think about what's here. Thank her for life every single day, for the protection she's providing you, for the protection. And there's another visualization that's really good, is going into inner earth and letting her just envelope you. Just going into inner earth and letting her envelope you. So you might want to consider throwing Gaia into your mix of blessings for the new year to come. We're working, you can work with her. You can work with her energies, work with her elements, work with all of this. Reconnecting in. So keep that in mind as we move into the new year. How can you reconnect in? How can you make more valid your, I just heard source creator, that has to do with Mother Earth. Because without her, we would not have life. Remember, we're from the stars and we're from the earth as well. Okay? All right. Where were we when I just jumped off on that? I don't know. Let's just see if I can, and then I'm going to probably finish up here. Oh, I know what I was doing. I was giving you actual events. Okay, let's just see if I can get anything else. I heard the waters will rise. I just heard to astounding heights. Now, this is in some areas, okay? This might seem obvious. I just heard movement will begin. I don't know, like, in corners of the earth. The rising tides. Okay. Meltwaters. All right, this feels like, and I don't know if this is happening now. I mean, I know we're having kind of a meltdown with our glaciers and all that, and I know the rising seas will cause people to be displaced, but I'm getting that we're going to really maybe notice this year. And this has a lot to do with, okay, now I'm giving you a lot of different things today, but this has to do with the uncovering of the earth and her secrets as well, but also moving individuals, and it may sound traumatic, but moving individuals into places that they need to be. Places they need to be, and so let's just say people get displaced because of a water situation, right? And the rising of the seas. They're meant to move there, wherever they're going. They're meant to be, it's like getting I just heard take your places, that whole idea of take your places. There's also going to be things that are going to show up that were unseen. All of what we see out there, that chaos in Earth, is it's all orchestrated, is what I'm getting to. The what is hidden shall now be seen. I just heard again. I think that's actually a biblical saying. I don't know. And I'm also seeing ice melt. So we've got that. It feels like there's going to be some significant finds this year that's going to change the course of archaeology and understanding. Remember, we have all these disparate things going on that are puzzle pieces. Remember, this is how this journey works. Puzzle pieces. So like stuff going on out there, TV shows, these kinds of things, all these things happening on Earth, all of this, things, the findings of lost secrets, right? All of this is going to start to come together. It's starting to tell the story. So we've got these disparate things going on, but they're all connected. We're going to have more of the connections happen. I keep getting archaeology, like there's significant finds going to be happening that will, I just heard will erase the course of time, meaning what we understand to be having happened in time. You will be faced with the reckoning of who you truly are, what you have lost, what you've done to self, and Earth, and across the course of time. Old secrets will be found again. This feels a lot like a lot of cosmic stuff happening for us, the connections, and then also stories on Earth. And they just said that it won't be able to be held back any longer. There are too many people that know now. It will become, the secrets will be told, is what I'm getting. The secrets will be told. So, okay, let's just go with January for a minute, all right? I just heard ease in to the unknown. Gentle flow. Take in what you learned in December for yourself. Sowing new seeds. Sowing new seeds, but they're talking about, sowing new seeds, but also, remember, we're not all doing the same thing at the same time, but we're in the same cycle. Sowing new seeds or reaping what you've sown in January, okay? They really want us to reframe how we live. We cannot do the fast-paced thing any longer. Something will show up in your journey if you are continuing to live that kind of life. There are things that can change and shift even if you do small things. But you have to have the awareness that this is about balance and flow. And you cannot have balance and flow with the way, in particular, Western society, actually the whole world now, but primarily Western society has taught is the way to live. And here's why. Well, part of it. You're going to need that energy moving forward into 2026. You're going to need to be able to have that balance because you can't be taken to the extreme. Again, in the sense of energy. So there's going to be a lot going on. And in that a lot going on, it also can be draining for us. So we need to recover our energy and be able to always balance that out. These are going to be, your spiritual practices are going to be very important. If you're not meditating, I know, a lot of people don't like meditation. I'm telling you right now, just sit and be quiet and listen to your breath. Focus on your eye and just take 5 minutes and breathe. Just focus on your breath. You'll be amazed at what happens and how you'll feel. But I am being given that this is incredibly important. We're easing in. We're planting seeds. We're reaping what we sow in January. It doesn't feel like a lightning bolt hitting, but you never know. Collectively, it could be, right? But I'm getting, they want you to ease in. Whatever comes your way, ease in. And also, they're showing the bowling pins again. All right? So we're easing in, but we're also like not putting up with things that we've either chosen to do for to ourselves over the years, or others have. And we're like, no, I don't think so anymore. You know, this just isn't working, whatever that might be. I think we're going to finish up here. This was a lot of, it's all connected. It's a lot of information. It'll be interesting because I always go back and edit this. I listen to, I add things and like the beginning and the ending, music and all that. But it'll be interesting to see what we talked about because I usually remember. Anyway, for those of you who are new to me, check out purplerainhealing.com because I do offer services, channeled messages, spiritual awakening mentoring, where you work with me one-on-one and for as long as you want to help you through your journey. Because as you all know, I've been going through this journey myself, and I also channel information for you, past, present, and future, potential future, I will say, for your own soul journey, which will assist you along in your spiritual awakening journey. So I have a specialty in spiritual awakening mentoring as well as past lives, which are incredibly important during this time frame that we are in. So again, check out my website, purplerainhealing.com. I would be happy to help you start your new year off on the right foot, assisting you forward in your awakening and life journey. So with that, happy New Year and start of 2026, and I will see you in the next video.